Hello everyone, welcome to Natural Grocer's Nutrition Education presentation. We are pleased to introduce our guest presenters for this week, chiropractor Dr. Christopher Grier and wellness coach Elanie Welch from Bright Futures Chiropractic. Welcome Dr. Christopher Grier and Elanie Welch.
Thanks, Janine.
Thank you, Janine.
The holidays. The holidays, believe it or not, are the most stressful time of the year, particularly in the Midwest, interestingly enough. Midwesterners say that the holidays are the top stressor, or the top time for stress in their entire life. And some people might say, oh, that seems, is there any data to back that up? Like, what's going on? Well, check this out. When we look at cardiac deaths, this is accumulated data from 1973 to 2001, and look at that graphic over there. That graphic shows the cardiac deaths peak, a very strong peak, in the holiday week, Christmas to New Year's Day. That is clear data that people get very stressed out, and when they get stressed out, they have health problems, including cardiac death. Now, certainly people are dying from cardiac death, but more importantly, in my opinion, all of the people suffering other things that are, not causing death, but all of the people who are causing other issues with their health because of the stress that we're in the holidays. That's a real thing. And as we look at how we can avoid that and how we can actually thrive through the holidays, we need to look at what we call the Thrive Formula. Now, this Thrive Formula is something that I created over the first several years of my practice when I realized that the actual production of health or thriving individuals is a simple formula. It doesn't have too many moving parts to it, so let's learn what those are. We first need to understand that our stresses come in three dimensions: physical stresses, biochemical stresses, and emotional stresses. So most of us think only about emotional stress when we think about the word stress. But however, there are three types of stress, including not only those things, but biochemical stress, the things we eat, the things we drink, the things we get exposed to. And there's physical stresses. Certainly the big physical stresses like slips and falls or sports injuries, car accidents, those sorts of major traumas. But much more importantly and more common in our culture are micro traumas. Those micro traumas come from the postural positions that we get in and those repetitive stresses that are caused to our body from that. Our sleep positions, the fact that we all sit way too much. All of us tend to spend way too much time looking at our devices. Those micro traumas are a real health problem currently in our culture. So as we go through today's workshop, we're going to be focusing on that biochemical dimension. What we need to also know with the Thrive Formula, though, is that those three major areas of stress are influenced, they have influence on our body through our nervous system. And that's why on the diagram over here, we've got the nervous system as the base for all of our stresses in life. That nervous system, when it is healthy and resilient and we're able to deal with the stress in our life, it allows us to stay healthy. And if the nervous system isn't healthy and it isn't adapting to the world very well, then those stresses that we have can be overwhelming. That's why in the Thrive Formula, we got to have that healthy nervous system as the first thing. And that's exactly what we do as wellness chiropractors. We look at the health of the nervous system and the spine. And we do that in a very in-depth way. In fact, in our initial visit with a person in the office, we are certainly talking with them to figure out what their body's been through, what they're currently going through, most importantly, what goals they have. And then that informs us as to what we need to do in our examination, where we're going to look at their spine and how it's moving and what position it's in. We're going to look at their nervous system, and we have technology that measures three different ways to look at how a nervous system is working so that we can see how a person's spinal muscles are functioning, how the part of the nervous system that runs internal organs and blood vessels and glands, how that part's working, and the part of the nervous system that regulates whether we're in fight or flight mode or whether we're relaxed and balanced. We measure that also. Then if we have indication that there might need to be even deeper look at things, we also have digital x-ray here. So we do all of that on our initial visit so that we can see how that nervous system is performing and how healthy it is, because that's the first key to the Thrive formula. Secondly, then, we got to add our lifestyle. And in our lifestyle, we need to give our body everything that it needs. And we need to limit or eliminate all the things that it doesn't need. Now, this might seem overly simplistic, but we have a model where we have 5 health fundamentals. And those fundamentals are going to be key to understanding whether you're getting everything that the body needs, or whether you're giving it things that it doesn't need. Those fundamentals are sleep, move, eat, breathe, and focus. And today, again, we're focusing on that eat dimension. All right, so back to the formula. We've got a healthy functioning nervous system. We've given the body everything it needs, and we've limited or eliminated the things it doesn't need, and now we need to do that over time. And that's what leads us to thriving. So when we look at health, we have to understand that health isn't something you have or you don't have. It's not a binary thing. It comes on a continuum between optimal health and wellness and really poor health and illness. And each of us sits on that line somewhere. And it's the choices that we make, the things that we do in our lifestyles, physically, chemically, and emotionally, that lead us either away from better health or lead us towards it. And while I've asked this question to people since I started practice in 2007, I still ask you to contemplate it. On that continuum right over there, which direction do you want your health to go? Which direction do you want your family's health to go? I'll tell you, and you probably won't be surprised, that 100% of people say that they would like their health to go towards wellness, to go in the better direction. Of course, nobody's going to choose illness. But now I ask you, well, where do Americans end up? What's the standard in America? Unfortunately, the norm in America is to become ill. In fact, 80 to 90% of us die of a chronic disease. And that is unacceptable, in my opinion. Because most chronic disease is preventable with lifestyle choice. That's why you're here on this webinar right now. And that's why I want to create these simple models for you to think about. One of the things that I found most important and most powerful for people is to have the ability to change their choices from unconscious choices and habits to conscious habits. And the way that I have taught people this over the years is through what we call the simple test. The simple test is this: whatever it is you're about to do, how you're going to eat, how you're going to drink, if you're going to exercise that day or not, how you're going to hold yourself while you're at your desk, or how you're going to react to whatever situation you might be in, whatever thing is right in front of you at that moment, take a second and ask yourself, will this make me healthier? And I would bet you will know the answer to that over 90% of the time. And that simple test then allows us to start making more choices that move us towards better health, and to help us start limiting the choices that we know we are making that have been leading us away from better health. When we look at how people get results, that's what that big R in the middle of that diagram stands for. In our chiropractic model, there are 3 things necessary. That's why we call it the 3-legged stool of results. First off, people need to keep their chiropractic adjustments in rhythm. Our world is unnaturally stressful. That creates problems in the spine called subluxation, and therefore chiropractic care on a regular basis is a healthy strategy for human beings looking to improve their wellness. So we got to keep those adjustments in rhythm to keep the nervous system healthy. Then we need to work on our habits. We need to delete bad habits. We need to install good habits. And that's where the simple test comes in very, very handy. And then we need to also do spinal exercises, because in our world, most of our culture is set up to be anti-spinal health, anti-spinal muscle health, anti-spinal motion health. So we need to keep it strong, we need to keep it mobile, and we teach people specific exercises to be able to do that. When all 3 of those things happen, it is amazing what can what can happen with a person's health and how much people can improve the level of their health. Remember I mentioned those 5 fundamentals. Here are our 5 fundamentals for superior health in a graphical model. We've got sleep, move, eat, breathe, and focus. And notice right in the center of that, because that's what modulates how beneficial these habits can be for our health, or it can modulate how detrimental these habits can be to our health. That's the nervous system. That's where it lives. The developer of our profession, B.J. Palmer, once said this: while other professions are concerned with changing the environment to suit the weakened body, chiropractic is concerned with strengthening the body to suit the environment. I'll say that again. While other professions are concerned with changing the environment to suit the weakened body, chiropractic is concerned with strengthening the body to suit the environment. That is a profound statement. It means that if we want health, if we want to make sure that we're concentrating on building health, we need to make sure that our body is working in the environment that it's in. We don't need to just simply say, okay, what can we do to change the environment so that our weakened body can be more comfortable? Chiropractic can do just that. Chiropractic can improve your body's ability to handle the stresses that it's under, and that is key to building health. All right. Let's go here then. I want you to meet Zach and his nervous system. Because Zach, when he came into us, he was a young man in his 30s, a farm worker, big strong guy, having back pain and neck pain. And when he came in, we did our nervous system evaluation of him, and this is what we found. This is a picture of his nervous system, and in the part that runs internal organs and blood vessels and glands. Now, he was there for back and neck pain, but as I looked at this, I thought, oh my goodness, look at that big area of imbalance at C4 through T2. And I said to him in his report, I said, okay, C4, that's an area that deals with thyroid function. C5 deals with sugar handling. And he said, wait, hold on. Did you say thyroid function? And I said, well, yeah, that's where the nerves from C4, they go to the thyroid. He said, well, I'm here for my back pain and my neck pain, but what I haven't told you is that a couple years ago, I was diagnosed with Graves' disease. Now, Graves' disease is a thyroid disease. And he said, so are you telling me this chiropractic care could cure my Graves' disease? I said, well, hold on. Chiropractic care doesn't cure anything. What chiropractic care does is it helps your body function at its best. And you tell me, does an optimally functioning body have Graves' disease? He said, well, I guess not. I said, I've never had this either, but we're going to see what happens. 4 months later, after we did an initial intensive care program with him, that's what his nervous system looked like. And what was so exciting about this is the fact that he and his wife had been to their endocrinologist that Friday before. I delivered this to them on a Monday. That Friday before, they had been to their blood work review with their endocrinologist, and they could find no signs of Graves' disease anymore. This is after 4 months of corrective chiropractic care, and his other diagnosis had included a prognosis of lifetime medication or irradiating his thyroid and then lifetime medication. These are the sorts of things we can see when we approach health from the Thrive formula position, because we got his nervous system working right. They worked on the lifestyle, and over time, it allowed his body to heal. So there is a better premise that we can go from than, oh, humans are just going to be sick, that we're going to get worse as we get older. And that premise includes these things. First off, healthy is normal. While unhealthy might be the norm in our society, please know that healthy is normal. Your body is smart. It knows what to do when it's given the opportunity to heal and thrive, and it will do it every time when it's given that opportunity. Our nervous system is our master system. All of our systems and organs, of course, are important, but the nervous system is the thing that controls and regulates all the functions of the body. And it lives in the spine. The spine is the suit of armor for the nervous system. So we have to keep it mobile, we have to keep it strong, and we have to keep it in appropriate alignment. If you want to be healthy, having a healthy spine is necessary for that. And please know that modern life is unnaturally stressful. There are very few things that we do in our world right now that we're doing in a way that we were designed to live. So modern life is unnaturally stressful. That causes problems with the spine, with the nervous system. Those issues cause those problems, which we call subluxation, cause deeper health issues. And taking care of your spine, your nervous system, and your lifestyle is the key to optimal health. Now, we're here for a nutritional approach to the stress of the holidays. We've got stress in all three dimensions, and one of those key dimensions is that biochemical stress. Fortunately, on our team here, we've got Elanie Welch. She has a master's degree in human nutrition, and I'm excited to turn over the presentation to her so that you guys can dig in and learn specifically from that biochemical dimension how to thrive. Elanie, take it away.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Grier. So when we talk about stress and how it affects the body, one thing that we have to talk about is gut health. So you have probably heard a lot recently about the concept of gut health and how important it is. And this is not a new concept, although we're hearing about it a lot more recently. But Hippocrates actually is the one who first said, all disease begins in the gut. So we have known this for centuries. However, we tend to live our lives as if what we eat and how we move, how we sleep, how we breathe doesn't matter. But we know that everything that we do, lifestyle-wise, dietary-wise, what we're exposed to in our workplaces, all of that affects the health of our gut, and the health of our gut affects the body overall. So when we talk about gut health, a common term that you might hear is leaky gut. And I want to dive into this a little bit because it's one of the most important concepts when we talk about a healthy, functioning gut. So in this diagram, what you can see on the left side is what a healthy gut looks like. So it has normal, tight junctions. You don't need to worry about learning the terminology about this. But I want you to understand that when we talk about tight junctions, that is what helps regulate the passage of food particles and pathogens into the bloodstream. So we need a healthy, normal gut layer there, that mucosal layer, to keep pathogens out of the bloodstream, to help with digestion, to keep food particles from getting into the bloodstream. However, many people, especially people who are under chronic stress, whether it's that physical, chemical, or emotional stress, develop inflammation in the gut. And inflammation, again, is this like big topic that we hear a lot about, but to bring it down into a narrow focus when we're talking about gut health, the way that that impacts the area locally is that it can cause damage to those intestinal cells, and it can cause them to shrink, and it causes those tight junctions that help keep the food particles and the pathogens out of the bloodstream. It can cause those tight junctions to widen. And now all of a sudden, food particles and pathogens that should not be getting into the bloodstream are getting into the bloodstream, and this triggers an immune response. And that is a healthy, normal response. Your immune system should react to those things being in the bloodstream. They are technically foreign invaders. They're not things that the body is used to seeing traveling around in the blood. So that's a healthy response. However, when that is happening chronically and the immune system is being triggered continually on a chronic basis, that can cause disease. So what are some symptoms of a leaky gut? Cramping, diarrhea, constipation, acid reflux or heartburn, flatulence, bloating, vomiting. These are things everybody has probably experienced at least at one point in their life. However, when they're happening chronically, it is a sign that there is a bigger issue at play. So important to note is that prolonged leaky gut leads to chronic health conditions. And these are just a few of the outcomes that we can see from chronic leaky gut. So even in infants, we can see these issues arise: colic, feeding difficulties, reflux, eczema, abnormal bowel movements. These are things that parents are often told, oh, it's normal, it's a phase, your child will pass through, but it's actually not normal. Remember that healthy is normal. These things are not normal. They're a sign of a bigger underlying problem, and that problem is typically central to gut health. In teenagers and children, we're seeing increased fear and anxiety, depression, ADHD and autism spectrum disorders, acne, PCOS, schizophrenia, and violent behavior. These things can be a direct correlation to an unhealthy gut environment and are significant outcomes that we can't just pretend are coincidence. And in adults, we see many of the same outcomes as we see in children, but we also see autoimmune conditions arising like multiple sclerosis, ALS, fibromyalgia, Parkinson's, psoriasis, lupus, vitiligo, and thyroid conditions, as well as some cancers. So as you can see, prolonged leaky gut, prolonged unhealthy gut environment is a significant problem and leads to chronic disease. So what causes a leaky gut? Well, stress, certainly, as we have talked about and as this workshop is focused on, that includes the emotional, biochemical, physical stress. And I'm going to focus on the nutritional aspect of that, the things that we eat that cause stress to the gut. But it's important to know that there are other things we're exposed to in our environment that can impact that. So from a food perspective, what causes leaky gut? Inflammatory foods. Foods that are creating an inflammatory condition in the intestines are going to cause that damage to the intestinal lining that allows those tight junctions to widen and causes that leaky gut situation. So this includes refined and processed foods, gluten, dairy, vegetable oils, sugar, alcohol, and caffeine. All of these foods are inflammatory, and when consumed with regularity, they can cause that prolonged inflammatory response in the intestines and leaky gut. So the first step that you can take is eliminating these foods that aren't serving you. Now, we reference the 80-20 rule here at the practice, so I'm not saying you have to go cold turkey and never touch those things again, but with the 80-20 premise, what we say is 80% of the time you're choosing foods that serve your body, that improve your health, that lead to a better nutritional profile and better health outcomes, and 20% of the time you might make a decision that doesn't lead you that direction, but you're going to make up for it with the 80% that does. Obviously, there are exceptions to this in individuals who have severe health outcomes, but for the normal person who's facing, everyday stressors and life's challenges and operating otherwise fairly healthy, then that 80-20 rule can apply. So I also want to note that there are other things so that you understand besides food that can cause that leaky gut, and that includes infections, candida overgrowth, parasites, viruses, bacteria, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. These things can also create a leaky gut. And most importantly, considering how medicated of a country that we are, some of the toxins that we encounter that can cause leaky gut that we absolutely know cause intestinal permeability are medications including NSAIDs, steroids, antibiotics, acid-reducing drugs, and then environmental toxins including mercury, pesticides, and BPA from plastics. Those are just a few of the toxins that we encounter every single day. So what nourishes our gut? Well, I want to talk about a few of the lifestyle fundamentals that we focus on, including sleep. So both quality and quantity matter, making sure that you're getting plenty of the good deep sleep and REM sleep that your body needs. And a study had shown that even just one night of lost sleep in otherwise healthy young adults caused inflammation. So your sleep is important. Make sure that you're getting it, make sure that you're getting enough of it, and make sure that you're getting good quality sleep. Also important is stress management. So taking time, obviously 2020 has been an incredibly stressful year, probably more stressful than most of us have encountered in our lifetime. So taking time to manage that is important. So whatever that looks like for you, whether it's deep breathing, meditative breathing, prayer, meditation, practicing gratitude, and exercise. All of those things are important for managing stress. Certainly, waking up in the morning and saying 5 things that you're thankful for is a great way to get your focus back on good things, what's good in your life, and taking it off of what's not going so well in your life. And exercise, it's important to note, getting your body moving helps with dopamine production and serotonin production. So if you are suffering from stress and anxiety and depression, there is no better antidote than moving, exercising, getting outside, getting fresh air. And then most importantly, as you're here for this workshop, the nutritional aspect. What nourishes our gut? So high quality foods like pasture raised protein. Fish and seafood, I recommend getting 3 to 4 servings per week. Colorful veggies, 1 to 3 cups per day. Dark leafy greens, 1 to 3 cups per day. Sulfur-rich veggies, these are your cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, but also some sulfur-rich vegetables include mushrooms, onions, and garlic. Getting plenty of organ meats. I know that's everybody's favorite food group, but there are great ways to ease into eating organ meats that make them palatable and pleasant and help open that gate. And then healthy fats, nuts, seeds, olives, avocados, fruit oils like olive oil and avocado oil and coconut oil, and then high quality saturated fats. Yes, I am not afraid of saturated fats. I recommend that people get them. Our more recent ancestors cooked quite frequently with lard and with butter, and they did not have the heart disease problems that we have today. So we need those healthy fats. We need cholesterol in order to have healthy cells. So please don't be afraid of them, but make sure that they are high quality. And then bone broth, which is an incredibly nourishing food, especially if you're making it right. I know Natural Grocers has those frozen bags of bone broth. Don't buy shelf-stable stuff. Look for the frozen bags. That is going to be nourishing and healthy to your gut. And most importantly, with all of these things, organic and pasture-raised is key. For organic, making sure that we're avoiding those environmental pollutants like the pesticides that can contaminate our food and cause inflammation. That's where we want to make sure we're getting organic foods and not accidentally introducing inflammatory components into our diet through pesticide exposure. And with animal products, pasture raised is so important for animals to be eating the foods that make them healthy. If they're eating grain and corn, that's not what they developed and evolved to eat, and that causes inflammation in the animal and can cause unhealthy byproducts in the meat that we eat. So pasture raised is so important. And from a supplemental side of things, pasture-raised collagen. Collagen is so important for cell health and especially for that intestinal lining. We need collagen to rebuild those intestinal cells and help it heal from that leaky gut condition. Fish oil or omega-3 fatty acids, again, very anti-inflammatory. Those are going to help nourish the gut, help the cells regenerate, and help reduce the inflammation that's damaging the intestinal wall. And then antioxidants, again, think anti-inflammatory. Vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin A, like beta carotene and quercetin. These are things that help reduce the inflammatory response in the gut and improve that healing process. And then zinc, very important for healthy tight junctions, like we talked about in that first slide. You saw those unhealthy tight junctions led to the passage of food, proteins, and foreign invaders like viruses, bacteria into the gut lining. So having zinc to normalize those tight junctions is important. And turmeric, which again is very anti-inflammatory and can work locally in the gut to help heal. So lots that you can do from a nutritional standpoint to nourish your gut, to heal your body. Focus on removing the things that aren't nourishing your gut and bringing in things that are. So now, just to close down the workshop, I would like to bring Dr. Grier back on and talk about a couple more things that you could do and that we do here at Bright Futures.
All right, thank you, Elanie. I want you to focus on what Elanie just said. There are lots of things you can do. Because unfortunately, there's a dangerous belief oftentimes that's out there, especially when a person has been dealing with something for a very long time. And that belief is there's nothing that can be done. This is just how it's going to have to be. I guess this is what I'm going to get. Well, that doesn't have to be the case. There are lots of things that can be done, but sometimes you have to go searching for them. And sometimes you need expert help with that. So know that Elanie here at Bright Futures Chiropractic, she does one-on-one consultations with people regarding their lifestyle and regarding their nutritional life. And know that if the nervous system is something that you aren't yet getting cared for, that needs chiropractic care. Chiropractic care is a healthy strategy for people who want to be well. Keep in mind, we've got the 5 fundamentals: sleep, move, eat, breathe, focus. These are all things that you have control of. And I ask you to think about which one thing is the most important for you right now, and then take a step today to start improving that. You don't need to improve all 5 to optimal in one day. That's not a good strategy. But choosing one thing and knowing exactly what you want to do about that today and creating that habit, that's a start. Make it too small to fail. Make it whatever. Okay, I need 5 more minutes of sleep today. Move your bedtime up 5 minutes. Whatever it might be. Or, hey, the zinc and the tight junctions. Maybe leaky gut is a thing for me, and I haven't been getting any zinc. I'm going to look up today what foods have zinc in them. Or I'm going to run in and get some zinc supplements today. Something simple. Just know that your health is in your control. It's your responsibility. And if you're looking for it to become wildly better, then please give us a call here at Bright Futures Chiropractic. The number has been down on the bottom of the screen the whole time. Elanie and I are both always happy to do free complimentary consultations with people. We do 15-minute talks where we see what's going on, figure out if the services we have could be a benefit to you, and if not, we figure out where we can connect you with, who we can connect you with, so that you can get the help that you need. All right, I'm Dr. Chris Grier. This is Elanie. Thank you guys for your time, and we're appreciative of the opportunity to do this webinar. Make sure that you make this holiday season absolutely the healthiest that you've ever had.
Thank you both for presenting this informative presentation, and thank you everyone for attending today. Please be sure to subscribe to Natural Grocers channel and keep an eye out for more presentations in the upcoming weeks. Thank you and good night.